So I would say for 95% of us, 95% of the time, these settings right here are going to be exactly what we need. And they are going to give us the results that most of us are going to want. So believe it or not, it's been about 3 years since we have had an AI update to Noise Xterminator, which pretty much is one of the programs that has revolutionized and thrown astrophotography into this next generation. I remember first doing PixInsight and the multi-step processes to get rid of all the different kind of noises that was there, all the masking and everything else. It was a pain in the butt. Shout out to Visible Dark for those old school videos. So I'm Chad, this is the Easy Astro Images channel, and we are going to play with some photons today. Big shout out to all of my channel members: Rico from Spain, Astroblog, DSO Imager, Larry Christensen, Akara210, and Andy Bennett. If you want to support my crazy ass and become a channel member for as little as $1 a month, you can in the link below. Now let's take a look at Noise Xterminator AI version 3. So here it is in all of its glory, and if you haven't upgraded this, or if you've never thought about purchasing any of the RC Astro products, I definitely would recommend it. Great thing is that it's a one-time purchase. I mean, Russ is sinking lots and lots of money into this. If you listen to any of his videos, the constant training that he's doing with this and Blur Xterminator and everything else, definitely something to support for sure. So in this new setting here, we've got a few different things that are going on. So we've got your basic setting here, which works fantastically well on any image that you have. In fact, let's just go ahead and apply it to our overall base image right here, right now. And I mean, if you scroll around this image and zoom in pretty much as far as you want, you're going to find nothing but a beautiful noise-free image. Even in an image like this that definitely has so much going on because it's a wide field image and it definitely is information starved. It could use a lot more integration, and you know, it's coming from Bortle 6, 5, 7 skies, whatever I have. But anyway, let's get back to this fantastic tool, and we are going to undo this. Now, there is a ton going on in this tool now. You'll see two different check marks that you can do. There is an intensity color separation, which will allow you to adjust how much color noise you're going to get in your image. And of course, this is going to vary from image to image. It's very easily to demonstrate. If we make a quick preview box here and we turn off all of the other noise and turn on the color noise, we can go ahead and drag and drop onto this, and you will see exactly what happens to this image as far as all of the color going away. And pretty much what we're left with is just some salt and pepper type of stuff. So we can do the whole undo, redo type of trick within the preview. Control-Shift-Z, Chad. You got to remember how to do this stuff. And then, of course, if we want to take it to the next level, we can crank up the entire intensity all the way up to 1.0, and we can apply that to our preview. And that is going to do absolutely everything for you. You cannot see a thing in there no matter how far you zoom in. Now, the great thing about this AI compared to some of the other ones is what I've noticed is, even though it might not be the best practice, it pretty much seems that no matter how aggressive you are with the noise reduction with this AI, you pretty much aren't left with this crazy plastic looking image that we used to get. Now, I don't recommend that you go full tilt on anything at all. Always try to like dial your settings in for what your image needs and what you are comfortable with. There's really no right numbers or anything when it comes to this stuff. We're all artists and astrophotographers here. So going back to the tool, if we go ahead and click on frequency separation here, this is where Noise Xterminator will now tackle high and low frequency noise. So your high noise, that's kind of like your structure, and your low noise, which kind of like is your background type of stuff, and your interactions between like the background and the structure. We also need to talk about iterations down here. Iterations basically is how aggressive you want the tool to be. So the more iterations, the more processing power it's going to take. Think of it as like it's going to do 100%, but it's going to break it up and do 20% at a time. Versus if you did one iteration, it's going to try to just knock everything out in one time. The default is 2. I tend to like running 2 or 3, kind of depends on the image and again, how much data you have and what is the composition, because you can basically make Noise Xterminator think that noise in the background could be nebula and expand it, or it could basically take that nebula and actually make it even better. So if we get back and look at this right here, going through some of Russ's videos with Adam Block and everything else, there's a couple different things that you need to do. You have a couple different sliders when you turn on noise, and we'll turn off color just so that way. So there's a couple different sliders that pop up when you're doing the frequency separation. So we'll turn off the color one here so that way it is a little bit more easy to see. So you've got your high pass and your low pass. Now, according to Russ, there's no need really to ever lower down your high frequency denoising to like a really low level. Like you might not want to go 100%. Maybe you want to go down a little bit lower, 0.8, 0.75, whatever. Now, when it comes to the low type of noise, this is something that, again, can get a little bit confusing because it's very image dependent and it can really blur the difference between what could be a background nebula and what could be actual background. And how he controls that is with this high frequency, low frequency scale adjustment. And now this is an adjustment that you can really get yourself lost in, which is probably why I would recommend these settings here for 99% of us, like 99% of the time. We can basically go anywhere from a 1 to a 0.9, a 0.85 by turning on color. So we're doing denoise intensity and color intensity, and then 2 iterations. And if you do that over your entire image, like we showed, you're going to get just a fantastic image. But just to basically show what's going on here, Russ does talk about doing this stuff in a real-time preview because Noise Xterminator does work with real-time previews. The problem is I have an 11900K DDR5 memory and a 3070 Ti video card, which is not high-end stuff at this point, but is still pretty damn high-end. And when you are making adjustments to your sliders here, it definitely will slow down the process of all of the updating and everything that's going on right here. So, for example, this is a real-time preview of what we're doing right here, right now. If I went ahead and dropped the denoise for color down to 0, it is going to update over here, and we see the little thingy spinning up here. And now if you zoom in, you can see that there is definitely some extra noise that was added into there, and that is that color noise. Now you can do preview boxes and stuff, but I found them a little bit difficult to work with. Doing preview boxes within the real-time preview is pretty easy to do. All you do is click on this little button right here, and then you're going to want to go up and just kind of pick a spot on your image, and you just draw out basically a block, and then it is going to load that, and then that now is your real-time preview. And you can see that we've got all kinds of color noise and stuff like that going on there now. So now if I go over here and I crank up all of the color noise all the way and then come back over here, now you can see it's all gone just like that. So color noise all the way off, color noise all the way on. So it's pretty responsive, but when you start adding more things to it, then it gets a little bit crazy. So what we're going to do so we can see some more stuff that's going on is we're going to turn the color noise back all the way down, and we are going to turn on the frequency separation. So the first thing that we can do is we can talk about the scaling. And Adjusting your scaling up and down is basically, like I said, going to kind of change the way that background and other structures kind of interact with each other. So if we put this thing at a 0, you can kind of see we've got kind of like some blockiness and choppiness going on here. Now let's just go ahead and raise this all the way up, and using the sliders, it wants to kind of move slow and kind of drags a little bit. And it's really hard to tell what's going on. So this slider is really image dependent, and it's kind of difficult to use. So what I am going to do pretty much is just kind of go with like his best practices. We can go ahead and reset the tool here. We can turn on all of the fun sliders, and we're going to get our real-time preview here. And you can see just kind of like at this stage, everything looks good. But what I see him do most of the time is turn the low frequency all the way off, and we can see what that did. So you kind of get like this modeling effect that's going on like all over the image now. And what he suggests to do is to slowly raise this scaling up until you get something that you might be satisfied with. So if we go to 13 right there, you can see that it pretty much took all of the modeling away. And, you know, we would want to back it off at that point is pretty much what Russ says. So if I back it down to a 10, I'm starting to see a little bit more. An 8, I'm getting more. So let's go up to 12. So 12 to me looks pretty clean. There's very little modeling that's in there, and we'll go ahead and go with that. Now, if we look at what we got going on here, what we can do is, I found that 0.9 is fine for this image when it comes to intensity and color. I'm going to just basically put just a touch at 0.15 of low frequency denoise in there. We are going to put our color at 0.9, and we're going to leave it at 3 iterations. And this should be what we're getting across our image. So at this point, we can close the real-time preview. And then we can just go ahead and drag and drop and apply it to our entire image. And now if we just kind of zoom in on everything, you can see you got to really zoom in really hard in Pixel Peep to get to all that stuff that is going on inside of there. So, but we've still got great detail. We've got a little bit of that stuff going on there. And I mean, everything looks great. Now, is this any better than what we did at the beginning? I don't know. It's hard to judge. It's hard to basically tell you guys what to do. I think, like I said, most of the time, I'm going to run my Noise Xterminator pretty much with these starting settings right here. And then I will just play with the color and the denoise intensity to basically dial things in as much as I want. But the great thing about this is that now we've got choices and we have more power, and it was all free. We got this update for free. So how about that? All right, let's try out one more image here for you guys. So here we have an image of the Pleiades that I did a long time ago, and I have reprocessed this thing time and time again, and I just love this image. So we're going to basically just go ahead and apply our, what I call my default settings to the image and see what we get. All right, we're all done. And I mean, as you can tell, it is very, very hard to pick out anything at this point that is wrong with this image. I mean, you have to really, again, zoom in, and you might see just the slightest wisps of structure that are just buried in there somewhere. But if we take a look at the actual core here, everything is just beautiful and denoised and just looks absolutely fantastic. And, you know, that's at those default settings again. So I think this is just great, and it's game changing, especially for somebody like me that loves to shoot wide field, because shooting wide field, again, you just kind of open yourself up to all kinds of problems, because you might have a couple targets within the image, and one of those targets might have came out beautifully because it's kind of isolated or it's kind of by itself, or maybe that part of the nebula is beautiful. But then over here, But then over here, you could have some gradient, or you could have some other different colored of image that is there, or a galaxy or something that's blown out, or this or that. So having more options and more ability to dial in noise reduction, it's a winner to me. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. We'll talk to you all later. Peace.